Hey everybody, today we are going to be baking some chocolate chip cookies. So I've already washed my hands, my hair is up, I am ready to start baking. I'm actually going to take my watch off so that it doesn't get all floury. And I'm going to put on an apron because I'm a bit of a messy baker. So if you have an apron, you could wear an apron. If not, don't worry about it. You just might need to wash your clothes after you do some baking. Okay. So, first off, we've got a lot of ingredients we need. So, we need butter, and it should be soft, so you need to leave it out of your fridge for a couple hours. Sugar, and I have brown sugar as well. 2 eggs, vanilla, baking soda, salt, flour, and of course, chocolate chips for chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven because we want our oven ready to go for when we put the cookies in. So your oven might be a little bit different, but on mine I press the bake button. It already comes up as 350 degrees, which is the temperature we need to bake the cookies at. And I'm going to press start. And pre means it's preheating, it's getting warmed up. So that is our first step. Now, I need to measure my butter, and hopefully you already watched our measuring video, so you'll know how to do it. So this butter I'm going to do in the dry measuring cup because I'm going to squish it in there so that I make sure I have 1 cup exactly. Okay, squish it right down so that it fills all the holes. And you know what, that was pretty good. Okay, so I've got a full cup there. So now I'm going to dump that in my bowl. Boop, out it comes. Okay, make sure I get it all in there. And next I'm going to measure my sugar and my brown sugar. But I need to give this a quick wash. Okay, so now that's clean. I'm going to measure my sugar. Another knife because this one's got butter on it. And I'm going to do a big scoop of sugar. Well, it wasn't quite big enough. I'm going to go again. There we go. That's a big scoop. And then I'm just going to scrape the extra sugar back into the bag. There we go. Dump it in. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my brown sugar. Oh, that's not going to fit in there. So I'm going to use a smaller scoop. So this is another thing, if you don't have a cup, I could do a different amount. So what I have here is a 1/4 cup. I'm going to do 4 of these, and that's the same as 1 cup. So 4 1/4 cups makes a full cup. 2. 3, and 1 more. Okay. And now I'm going to mix those together. So I'm going to grab a spoon Now my butter isn't quite soft enough, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna break it up. Because it's not quite breaking up as I'd like it to, I'm gonna actually use my hands, which is okay because they are clean. And I'm just gonna squish it all together. Okay, that's good. Now we're good. I'm gonna get all the extra stuff off my hands and then wash my hands. Okay, next up is eggs. We're gonna add 2 eggs to our butter and sugar mixture. And I like to crack my eggs into a separate bowl first so that if I get any eggshells, they're just gonna go into my little bowl instead of the bowl that's gonna be the cookies. So, crack my egg, put my fingers in the crack, pull it apart so I can see there's no shell in there, so I can dump that in. And then I'm just gonna give it a mix. Okay, second egg. There we go, no shells again. Those were pretty good cracks. Put the other egg in. And I'm gonna mix the egg again. Oh, did you hear that beep? That means the oven is ready. The oven is warm. Okay. So now that I've got my eggs and my butter and my sugars together, it is now time for me to add some vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I found the one that says 1 teaspoon because there's no 2 teaspoon measure, but I can use the 1 teaspoon twice. So I'm gonna pour, and again, maybe I'll get my egg bowl again and just pour over the bowl in case it spills. I pour too much. Oh, there's a little bit too much. Drop it in. And 2 teaspoons. There we go. I'm gonna bring the bowl right close. There we go. So I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla in there. I'm gonna stir that up. Okay, and you want your things to all be pretty well mixed together so we don't see any egg bits, we don't see any vanilla bits, we don't see any big chunks of butter. And now we are ready for the next step. So we are going to get a little bowl, and I'm going to do a teaspoon of baking soda. So that's what I have here. Oh, a teaspoon one won't fit in. So I'm gonna do the half teaspoon. I'm gonna dig in, and I just do it with the lid to get a perfect half teaspoon. There we go, 1. Oops. That's not what I was supposed to do. That's all right. I'll do this one in the water. There's my other. Okay, and it's supposed to be 2 teaspoons of hot water. 2 teaspoons. I'll just give it a little stir. And I've dissolved my baking soda, so you should do that with both your teaspoons. Or both your 1 teaspoon of baking soda, I forgot, but that's all right. We'll mix it all in together. There we go. And then we also need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to use the same little bowl to pour over top of. And then I'll use my knife again to get rid of the extra salt. There we go. Stir. Okay. And now it is time to add our flour and our chocolate chips. So I need the 1 cup again. And I'm going to get, no, I know the 1 cup already fit in there, so we'll use it out of the bag. Now I'm using whole wheat flour, but you could use white flour. This is just all I have, and you can't really buy flour right now, so we're using what we've got. And we need 3 cups of flour. So there's 1, 2, and 3 cups flour. Give it a stir. And this is why you want a nice big bowl. Okay. And then I'm going to add my chocolate chips. And I'm just going to add this whole package. Of chocolate chips in. But I can measure it first. So I'm going to pour it in. Just make sure it's pretty flat. There we go. Pour in. And that's, oops. Good thing I put the lid on that. So you could just dump the whole package in if you want, or if you don't have a package like that, you can measure it. Okay, and then we just stir it until it's all combined. This could be another time. I'm actually gonna use my fingers, take it off the spoon there, to make it into a nice ball. So this is pretty much, once you don't see too much flour in there, and it's starting to look like dough, you are ready. You can make it into cookie balls. So you could get a spoon to do it, or I just use my fingers, and I'm gonna roll it or press it into a little ball. And then I've already got a cookie sheet here with parchment paper on it, so I just put it right down like that. And depending on the shape you want your cookies to be, if you want them to be a bit fatter, you're gonna leave them as a ball. If you want them to be a bit more laid out, you're gonna squish them down a little bit. And just roll them into a ball, about that size. This is maybe a little bit big. Okay, so you can see I've got rows of 3, 1, 2, 3, and I've done 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna get 12 cookies, 3, 6, 9, 12 cookies out of this tray, and then I can do another set on another tray. Okay, so I've got my 2 trays here. Each has 12 cookies. They're ready to go in the oven. I need to wash my hands because I got cookie hands. And I'm going to put on some oven mitts. And I know my oven is at the right temperature because it beeped, told me it was ready. So now the cookies are going to go in. And they go in for 10 minutes. But what I'm going to do is set my timer for 5 minutes because I want to switch the cookies from the bottom rack and the top rack. I'm going to switch them so that they get equal time, both of them on the bottom and the top rack. So in 5 minutes, halfway through, I will switch them. Okay, that's the timer. That means it's time to switch the cookie sheets. So you can see they're starting to get baked. So I'm just going to move this one to the top, this one to the bottom. Close it back up, set the timer again for another 5 minutes. And in the meantime, you can clean so that you don't leave a dirty kitchen for your parents. I've already cleaned up mine, so that means you can do it in 5 minutes too. All right, let's check them again. Those look like done cookies. Okay, so I'm gonna bring them out, and because the trays are hot, I'm putting them on my stove top, which is not on. Close the oven, and now these are very hot, so I gotta let them cool for a couple minutes before I eat them. If you had a cooling rack, you could move them to your cooling rack, but I don't have a cooling rack, so I'm not gonna move them, but you can see they're just nice and brown on the bottom, not burnt, and they've got a little bit of brown on the top. So those cookies are looking good and delicious and will be ready to eat once they've cooled off a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy your cookies, or enjoy cookies that maybe you just bought, but hopefully you can make them, and I'll see you next week.